Here I am in this suburban wasteland. It just goes on for miles, this urban sprawl. Man. Well, anyways, my car. And why I'm showing it off on this video is because I always wanted to itch people's curiosities about what it's like to have an electric car. So, she's heavy, but she's also incredibly fast. And I mean, I'm not talking about like hilarious. I'm talking about like biblical speeds. Like, I'm really surprised they allow cars to have the amount of acceleration this vehicle has. It's stupid. So, and the fact that I found one in a used car lot in this condition was a pretty good shocker. Right. I am entering my morbid, twisted roommate's garage of auto parts and gun-ho, I guess. Just to show you all the plug that I am using to charge my car. Oh, right there, 250, 50 volt or whatever, or I can't remember. I know mine. Oh, it's 35 on the charger. And it's 50 on the wall, so that's 250. But I'm not using the full potential of the plug. I'm getting 20 miles per every hour of charge, and there is of course a breaker, but it's actually the small breaker, which I'm really surprised, because I was charging it off the dryer plug when I first got the car. I was worried that I might be overloading it, and it wasn't. And I realized that a lot of the chargers don't charge at the highest potential, the 50. So they lock out at 35, which makes me wonder if there's a reason why they're doing that. Probably to reduce fires or some shit. So the plugs actually don't get hot. And surprisingly enough, the dryer plug didn't get hot. So I thought there would be like a bottleneck at the plug where it would generate heat, because dryer plugs are archaic, and there's so many variants of them too. There's no set standard. You know, you might get one of those crappy ones that get hot, but no, his plug's actually got long ass copper connections in it. So, kind of a ground tour of the garage here, so I can show off this dryer plug. There we go. Now, a lot of people were like, well, hell, how'd you get it to plug into that? Well, I just bought a converter adapter. Because like I said, they're between 240 to like 260. It's crazy how many variants of these plugs were around. So you never know. You gotta test it. So anyways, it's a new house, so I was assuming. Now I know that they dropped so much in price because the production of batteries have gone down and the popularity of 3. Yes, that all plays into it too. But man, if you rewind this 2 years ago, these cars were going for 100 something grand. So the depreciation on them was pretty high. And I started thinking, man, is this something to worry about with depreciating like a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW? And the answer is no, because I've researched it. People are driving these with over 500,000 miles on them. So you're basically getting a car with only the wear and tear being in the degradation of the battery from its age. But 3 to 7% degradation really isn't all that much when you still have 300 miles of range. So, and I'm mostly driving it in the city. With just 200 miles, I would still be okay. So, that range anxiety really doesn't exist. Anyways, that's the plug. Here's what I do. Just kind of roll it up over here, right behind one of my roommate's cars. I might expend maybe a couple bucks charging this thing. So I'm trying to tally it up. I haven't been charging it for real long, but I got the app, and the app tells me. So I told my roommate if it gets too excessive, I'll start pitching in. Because if it's not too much, I don't think it's going to hurt him too badly. Like maybe $10, $30. But if it goes over like $100, I'm definitely going to pitch in. But so far, it's been really marginally small. So, and hopefully he gets another roommate and I can enjoy not really spending too much money on travel. So, I normally charge it at the supercharger. I've been charging it the last 2 days because I keep thinking I'm going to go on a trip. So that's really when you charge it at home and you trickle charge it all the way to full. So at the supercharger, I don't want to sit there because the last 10%, 15% is like 30 minutes of charging. 30 to 40 minutes of charging, and it's a long time just to get that little top off. But all the way up to about 250, 240 miles, it charges quickly. I'm talking about like maybe 100 miles easily within 5 to 10 minutes. So those superchargers are freaking impressive, especially when there's no one on the grid. Going in at night, and it charges fast. I've noticed in the day it does charge a lot slower. Now I'm not talking about monumental, but there is a noticeable difference. And I think it's because that the system is heating up, like it's getting hot, because you can hear the compressors come on, the fans on those little buildings around the charger. And yeah, I mean, in many ways I am kind of showing it off because I haven't had something that really rewarded me in a long time. My life has been pretty monotonous and boring. So this is kind of putting a little bit of a granite. It's not making me super happy all the time. I mean, it's when I'm not in the car, I'm not like happy. But when I'm in it, I'm happy. Well, it's stupid. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. So, in a year, it's been a year of risk for me too. I've tried to change my life, make myself happier. And I realized one of the biggest reasons and one of the holes are missing is this chair being empty. Going places and stuff by yourself is just not that fun unless you can bullshit with someone and argue. It's just, that's what I really need. So, car, girl, if a stable relationship, new place to live. One thing is really neat about this DJI camera is that little connector right there. Of course, the cheaper cameras come with these dinky ones, but this one's actually magnetized, which I think is really cool. So there's some definitely some thought put into this design. I much improved this over the GoPro. Now I'm worried if I put this thing on backwards because it's not connecting. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Did I just stick this on here in the wrong direction? Oh, it only goes one way. Bad design. Oh, now I can't get it off. Oh, there you go. It would have been cool if it was universal which direction it would plug into it. Now I gotta flip it around. Why is the video? Alright, I want to restart the video and see if it automatically flips it. Okay, I don't think that worked. Anyways, I could always edit it in post-production. The miracle of video editing software. Alright. That's the view I got. That's actually really cool. It'd be cool if I had a stick to lower it. So it is like driving a spaceship. Oh. I keep checking myself here. Alright. The one thing that really sucks is I got platform shoes on because I'm a weirdo. And you can actually hit the brake. So the foot space is a little bit tighter than what I'm used to when these larger trucks and stuff I've been driving. You also sit incredibly close to the road. I kind of like to think of it as kind of like driving a Corvette. And Corvettes, you feel every bump on the road and everything. Except this has far superior, I don't know how to put it, suspension. Or just generally it feels like it's floating on air. And that's because of those air bladders. So kind of like a diesel truck. Also, that helps to level the battery because this thing weighs 6,500 pounds, which is immensely heavy. And people don't, they look at this, they don't see that, but it's not hollow. It's actually quite squished in the general area that I'm in right here. It's because there's like 4 inches of battery. That's why they call it a surfboard design. They're able to hide it really well by having everything kind of leaned back real far. So the car feels stretched. But the seat is not as high up off the floorboard as most vehicles. And in many ways you would think your knees would be in your chest, but they stretched it out kind of like a Formula One car. So my knees don't really hit anything. They got the cushioning right here. The noise. The only thing you really hear is the road. Okay. I know it probably doesn't look fast on camera, but you could have seen my speedometer. I'm easily getting 4 or below seconds at 0 to 60. So it makes me a little bit paranoid of cops because it is a troublemaker. Now, I wasn't really flooring it right there. And you pass some people up on the freeway, it is snappy. It gets you out of just because of the zippiness of it, it gets you out of situations too in traffic. In traffic to maneuver. The one way to describe, there's no vehicle that I've ever driven besides like a Mazda 3 Speed, the Speed Edition with the turbochargers, and there was a Ford Focus ST. It had a turbocharger on it. Those cars had superb acceleration, but next to this, nothing. They don't even come close. I almost bought a BMW 550i, and I ended up buying a Chevy Volt because I was thinking about, you know, what happens if I get into a situation and financing a car that has such poor gas mileage. And I looked over and I kept on seeing this futuristic little Volt, and you know, I said, fuck it. I can save a lot of cash and shit. That car really transitioned me into electric vehicles. And it's because when I was broke, flat broke, I was still able to fill my car up with fuel, but electricity instead, and go somewhere. Yeah, I had limited miles, 40 if I was lucky. Shitty range. But to go out to eat, go grocery shopping, it was perfectly fine. I traveled to bars relatively far in my Chevy Volt. Now, you take that times 5, and you suddenly realize that range really isn't that much an issue with this vehicle. As of right now, I got 230 miles of range. Now, I've been capping the charge limit to 240. And the reason why, keeping the battery below 3/4 or below 1/4 of a full charge lowers the decomposition of the battery. It also allows it to not create these crystalline forms that's one of the things that really destroy the batteries. Is at high charge, crystals start to form inside the lithium. They have to dry all the materials inside those batteries to perfect. They can't have any impurities. And little impurities act like seeds, kind of like water droplets, and they start breaking and decomposing the battery. And they're finding ways to make the batteries more pure. And a pure battery with no imperfections or doping of bad materials will have no degradation whatsoever. And there's promise coming out. They could be just bullshitting, because a lot of car companies like to make a ruse to try to pump up sales. Supposedly Toyota made a non-degradative battery, a battery that doesn't decay, it doesn't age, so it'll go on for without any loss of mileage. The battery be always like new, just because of how pure they made the cells. Now, one thing that the Ford Lightning has is a slightly larger battery than this, even though it has the same range and the same capacity. Their battery is bigger. It actually weighs more, but it's only slightly higher capacity. And the reason why, they were creating like a buffer. So bummed out. Oh man, I drove all the way out here for no fucking reason. So now I'm thinking about looking up downtown events. Maybe I don't fucking go to the Heights. See what's on Washington or some shit. Maybe they got karaoke out there. Not that far. I'm like 8 miles from downtown right here. Surprisingly, Kima is not that far from downtown. It's, you know, what really bums me out is it seems like such a chill area, but there's nothing going on. It kind of makes me animus or like sketchy about going farther out. I thought about going out to, like, I don't know, Padre Island or some shit. I like to look at this area, but dead on Monday on a holiday. Anyways, I really want to put this in perspective. It's a holiday. There's no work today. I'm by the beach, coastal area, and dead. It's completely dead. I mean, I really thought I would see people. There's cars. There's nothing.